Bro.
Yeah, man.
And why? You do because the belt situation?
No, not at all. That'd be stupid of me.
Mm.
You know, I'm 38.
You're young though still.
38 is old in boxing. I've been boxing since I was 7.
That's so crazy, bro.
You know, so I have nothing else to prove. I have nothing else to accomplish. You know, it's like, what more can I do?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they're not gonna give me the credit anyway, so it really doesn't even matter.
Why do you think they're not gonna give you the credit?
Because I'm just that nice.
Mm.
You know, not to be cocky or anything. It's just when you so much better than the competition and you make them look how they never looked before. Everybody say, "Oh, they washed," or "This guy's."
Nello, the hardest person you ever fought?
Nah.
Who was the hardest person you ever fought?
Gamboa.
Mm. Damn.
And I was at 135.
That's so fucking crazy, bro.
All right, we in the building, man. A little bit under the weather, but I'm gonna cut a couple videos real quick. So, apparently Terence the Bug Crawford did an interview with Aiden Ross, and they got into some topics. You know, two of them were talking about the hardest opponent that he fought, and why he retired. All right, he got into why he retired first. I'll talk about that. And, you know, he talked about credit. You know, when you hear, people say, remember Fulton said, I'm doing this, I ain't doing this for the fans, I'm doing this for me versus no, I don't care what nobody think. Those are the first signal points that they care. You know, you don't care what nobody really think. You just, those type of people that's considered sigmas, loners, march to the beat of their own drum, usually mysterious stuff of that nature. I wouldn't even look for credit. You know, that's why you set goals. You know what I'm saying? That's the importance of setting goals. Therefore, you can celebrate you breaking through your goals and setting more goals and setting high goals. That's one of the things that you have to do, set goals. You know, because when you do something extraordinary in between those goals, there's going to be times where you slowly reach those goals. There's going to be times where you hit other goals that you wasn't even looking for and you smash them. But at the end of the day, a lot of the people that they dislike, they get credit in hindsight in sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, Michael Jordan was just above everybody. Michael Jackson, Prince, Mike Tyson at his time, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali later on was great. Got great credit. Boxing is different. Hispanics, they celebrate their people in the here and now. And post, Panama still, from what I understand, pays Roberto Duran's bills and stuff. They celebrate him. But it seemed like that with Black Americans because you are a race without a country, without a backing, So, but I wouldn't look for that. I just said goals. You got all the trinkets, all of that. When they don't like you, they always gonna say, "Oh, he ain't do this, he ain't do that." But when it's Triple G, he can be beneath the bare minimum and he can get in. You kind of catch what I'm saying? So that's what I always look at it like that, man. If I'm him, I'm gonna retire because it ain't nothing else for me to do. Regardless, if it's moving down, beating this guy, if it's moving up, beating this guy, it really ain't nothing else to do, or I don't have the propeller to do it no more. I don't really have the motivation or I don't want to do it no more. It's simple as that. Sometimes when you walk away, it's a bargaining chip to get you more money coming back. To get Mike Tyson a name on his resume, to get more hype behind him, they pull Larry Holmes off the couch. People forget that. People hate Larry Holmes so much that they don't bring that little known factor. People think Mike Tyson beat the Larry Holmes that beat Trevor Burbick and that beat Gary Cooney and that beat Tex Cobb and, guys like that. It's not, he got him off the couch and shit. So that's why, for a reason, this is why, you look at certain people's resumes like Canelo and they, Oscar fought Pernell when he was fighting these older guys. They just got the name. As history go on, people are like, damn, he fought him. Only the people in the here and now or in the know are going to be like, oh, that nigga was washed up or he was older. Or that wasn't the same guy. That only people like that gonna do that. But, you just stop doing, you stop doing something, you feel like doing it. Not because you're scared to take a loss, not because they won't give you credit. I just don't have the urgency to do it. I just don't have, I don't feel like doing it. When you lose a passion for doing something, sometimes you just need a reset. You know, sometimes you just need a reset. Excuse me. Cold, kicking my ass. But sometimes you just need a reset, man. And you ever get that reset, if I'm a bad man, I'm willing that he coming back. Just a bad man. But yeah. I remember I was listening to somebody on, was it The Last Dance? Was it Ma Rashad or somebody was telling them that, you know, telling the media that y'all gonna force Michael into retirement. Y'all gonna drive him away. He went lying. You know, every time somebody comments on, it's something like, even on social media, if you read through a comment section, it's something with the human mind that this is notices the negative comments. It could be a billion great comments and one negative comment, and that's the comment that your mind gravitate towards. You know what I'm saying? So, but you do it because you don't love doing it no more. You don't have a passion doing it for more, or you have limitations, injuries. You know what I'm saying? Or you got people that got to do it because they need the money. You know, when you buy these different houses here or there, when a lot of niggas see the lifestyle with a bunch of bitches, a bunch of women around, that's all income coming out. Real talk. That's all income coming out. You gotta understand, the kids, all income coming out. So let's think about it this way before I get on to him saying Gamboa was his hardest fight. Think about it this way. If it's just you by yourself, you know, moving it, guess what? It's just you. You don't have no, oh, hey, I need this, I need that. It's just you moving. You're gonna sustain longer, but you add 1 person, 3 person, 10 person, 9 person. Now you add 9, 10, 12 problems. And usually those problems, them people around you, they never alleviate your problems. They never make life easier on you. All they are hindrance. They take without replenishing. Fuck reciprocating, because if you wealthy or rich, you got a bunch of niggas that's not wealthy. What can they reciprocate around you? I bought him a Bugatti. He cleaned my living room. That's not reciprocation in my opinion. So the more you see these niggas with these hoes, these side bitches, these brothers, sisters, my best friend, all that's disposable income, bro. Or that's just income they throwing away. So you gotta keep people around you that's useful, you know? So when you got your lifestyle, you understand, you know, I always say this, you can live here, but you live here. Most men that been there, they understand that. You know, every now and again, we'll play here. We might get a little toy, at least a little Ferrari, or buy a Ferrari. When some of our competition, we might buy a watch. You know what I'm saying? Might, whatever it may be. Might do an addition onto the house. You know what I'm saying? Might add a theater room, might add an indoor court onto, just little shit. Every now and again, we do little things here, but him saying his toughest fight was Gamboa. I mean, I guess that for a number of reasons. Gamboa was awkward. I think a lot of people thought Gamboa was gonna beat him. I'm not sure he wasn't favored, but it was relatively unknown. I think it was coming off the Prescott or Klimoff fight. Gamboa was feared. The only person that he didn't want to get in the ring with, according to Bob, you could take that with a grain of salt, was Brandon Rios. And he was real awkward. He had signed with 50 Cent, had been supposed to be TMT. Floyd got rid of that. And he had success in that fight. And Gamboa was fast, awkward, wasn't your, typical mundane 1-2 Cuban. And Bud that night showed for him to find Gamboa with the accuracy and him with the body shot, them body shots and them head shots that he found. I mean, it was impressive for him to control Gamboa with range, man. I think it was, in hindsight, it was impressive. Because ain't nobody ever controlled him like that. Mikey Garcia didn't want none of that. It's a lot of them dudes that went down there who didn't want none of that. So, his ability to get his head off the line, his ability to box, his ability to control the distance, that probably should have told us that when he fought Sean Porter, even though he was probably malnutrition at 135, when he fought Sean Porter, and he was able to control Sean Porter the way he did, if he was able to control Gamboa, he probably going to be able to control Sean Porter at some point. They just so awkward. But yeah, the toughest fights is, you don't know what be going on. Then also, if you're talking about outside the ring, he had to get money back for him to have a fight in his hometown because Top Rank didn't believe he could sell in his hometown. So it was also pressure for him to sell that fight. Because if he didn't sell that fight, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, damn, if you don't sell this fight, you may not be able to come back. So it was a lot of different pressures there, but Gamboa was a talented fighter, man. You know, but that's his fight. Who knows the fight that he went in with Top Rank, you know, and all them. Who knows what all went into that? That's what I'm saying. All the things, you got to get this back. You got to pay this back. We don't believe you can win this fight. Or you got to, I mean, you know, training camps, the cutting weight, all that go into a tough fight. And that doesn't mean Gamboa was an all-time better fighter than Canelo. But I'll tell you this, I believe that Gamboa was a more talented fighter than Canelo. More skillful fighter. And all the skillful fighters ain't always the best fighters, because outside of skill, there's will, determination, chin. You know, I see guys like Brian Vera, Brandon Rios, Tim Bradley, you know what I'm saying? Hagler, you know, they willed themselves to wins. Jake LaMotta, a lot of these guys willed themselves to wins. So that's all I pretty much had to say. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the link tree, join the Patreon. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Kick, Twitch. Appreciate the love and support. Peace.